The sun beat down on the bustling city of Memphis as Djoser, the young pharaoh, strolled through the crowded market. Around him, merchants hawked their wares, artisans displayed their crafts, and the air buzzed with the energy of a thriving kingdom. Egypt was at its zenith, a beacon of power and prosperity in the ancient world. Yet Djoser's mind was heavy with the weight of his responsibilities. The recent death of his father, King Kuni, had thrust him onto the throne, and now he felt the pressure of maintaining his dynasty's legacy. He needed allies, and quickly, as threats both foreign and domestic loomed on the horizon. Djoser knew that to secure his kingdom's future, he needed someone who could match his ambition and intellect. He needed a vizier, a chief advisor who could help him navigate the complexities of ruling such a vast empire. At that moment, a man emerged from the crowd, and Djoser's gaze locked onto the newcomer. There was something about this individual that set him apart, an air of confidence, intelligence, and charisma. Intrigued, Djoser motioned for the man to approach. When the man drew near, Djoser studied him closely, taking in his features and demeanor. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice echoing through the marketplace. The man bowed slightly before speaking, his voice a low rumble that carried a hint of authority. "My name is Imhotep, Pharaoh," he said, "and I am a servant of the crown." Djoser sensed that Imhotep possessed qualities that could prove invaluable to him. He could see the sharpness in Imhotep's eyes, the way he carried himself with quiet dignity and power. "I have need of your talents, Imhotep," Djoser declared, extending a hand towards the architect. "Become my vizier and help me to shape the future of Egypt." And so began the unlikely partnership between Djoser and Imhotep. They were two distinct individuals, each with their own strengths and perspectives, yet they shared a common goal, the betterment of Egypt. Together, they embarked on a journey that would change the course of history forever. As the news of Djoser's appointment spread throughout the kingdom, the citizens of Memphis erupted in celebration. They adorned the streets with flowers, sang joyous songs, and offered prayers to the gods for their mighty pharaoh and his brilliant vizier. But beyond the festivities, Djoser and Imhotep faced challenges that threatened to overshadow their ambitions. The neighboring lands were restless, eyeing Egypt's wealth and power with envy. Meanwhile, internal factions plotted against them, hoping to undermine their authority and seize control. However, these external pressures only strengthened the bond between the pharaoh and the vizier. They worked tirelessly, strategizing, negotiating, and building alliances to protect their homeland from harm. Despite the turmoil, a sense of optimism prevailed in Memphis. People witnessed the dedication, intelligence, and charisma of their leaders and believed that together they could overcome any obstacle. Through it all, Djoser and Imhotep remained steadfast, their determination fueled by their love for Egypt and their belief in their shared vision. They knew that the true test of their leadership lay ahead, and they were ready to face it together. With the kingdom stabilized, Djoser and Imhotep turned their attention to the grand projects that would solidify their legacy. One of their most ambitious endeavors was the construction of a magnificent palace complex in the heart of Memphis. It was to be a symbol of their reign, a testament to their power, and a place where the pharaoh and his vizier could live in style and conduct their affairs of state. The palace was a marvel of design, boasting soaring columns, intricate hieroglyphics, and spacious courtyards adorned with lush gardens. It was a hub of activity, where nobles from across the kingdom gathered to pay homage to the pharaoh and where diplomats from distant lands came to conduct business. But even as the palace neared completion, the shadow of impending doom loomed over Memphis. A devastating famine struck the land, causing widespread starvation, disease, and despair. People grew weak and emaciated, and the once vibrant city became a shadow of its former self. Djoser and Imhotep were deeply troubled by the plight of their people, and they knew they had to act swiftly to save Egypt from ruin. Realizing that traditional methods would not suffice, they turned to unconventional solutions to address the crisis. Imhotep, drawing upon his knowledge of mathematics and astronomy, developed sophisticated irrigation systems to maximize water usage and ensure crops thrived despite the lack of rainfall. He also implemented sustainable farming practices that preserved the fertility of the soil and ensured long-term food security. Djoser, meanwhile, reached out to neighboring kingdoms, forming alliances and securing trade routes to bring much-needed resources into Egypt. He established granaries where surplus food could be stored, ensuring that those in need had access to sustenance. Through these collective efforts, the famine began to ease its grip on Egypt, and the people slowly emerged from the shadows of despair. Despite the challenges they faced, Djoser and Imhotep continued to work tirelessly for the betterment of their kingdom. One of their most enduring legacies was the establishment of a new capital city, which they named Akhmim. Situated along the Nile River, Akhmim became a center of trade, culture, and learning. Its strategic location facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas, and it quickly grew into a prosperous metropolis. Djoser and Imhotep also prioritized the construction of temples and monuments that celebrated the gods of Egypt. These structures, with their towering statues and intricately carved walls, served as reminders of the divine order that maintained the universe and inspired awe and reverence among the populace. Perhaps their most iconic achievement was the construction of the world's first pyramid at Giza. This monumental structure, initially conceived as a step pyramid, evolved into a four-sided tomb for Djoser, reflecting the pharaoh's desire to ascend to the heavens and become one with the gods. The pyramid, with its massive limestone blocks and smooth sloping sides, stood as a testament to the ingenuity, skill and sheer determination of the Egyptian people under the guidance of Djoser and Imhotep. Through their combined efforts, Djoser and Imhotep transformed Egypt into a beacon of civilization, power, and enlightenment. Their innovations in agriculture, construction, trade, and religion left an indelible mark on the course of history. After a glorious reign of nearly 40 years, it was time for Djoser to transition his role as pharaoh to his chosen successor. He summoned his son, Prince Neferka, to his side and bestowed upon him the sacred crown of Egypt. As the ceremony commenced, Djoser, with a heavy heart, realized that his journey as pharaoh had come to an end. Yet as he placed the crown on Neferka's head, he saw a reflection of his own youthful vigor and determination in his son's eyes. There was a profound sense of continuity in this moment, a realization that the spirit of their great dynasty would live on through the next generation. During his final days, Djoser shared stories of his reign, offering guidance and imparting wisdom to his son. He recounted the triumphs and challenges they had faced, emphasizing the importance of justice, compassion, and unwavering commitment to the gods. In turn, Neferka pledged to honor his father's legacy, promising to continue the tradition of enlightened rule and ensure the prosperity of Egypt. After the coronation, Djoser retired to the palace, where he spent his remaining time tending to his gardens, reflecting on his life's work and enjoying the company of his family. The people of Egypt revered him, and many came to pay their respects to the great pharaoh who had led them to glory. As Djoser's health began to decline, Imhotep, ever by his side, provided comfort and support, ensuring that the pharaoh's final days were filled with peace and tranquility. When the end finally came, Djoser passed away peacefully in his sleep, his soul joining the pantheon of the gods in the afterlife. His body, however, was prepared according to the sacred rituals, and his sarcophagus was placed deep within the majestic pyramid at Saqqara, where it remains to this day. Although physically separated from his physical form, Djoser's legacy lived on in the hearts and minds of his people. In the centuries that followed, his accomplishments in architecture, agriculture and trade were celebrated, and his name echoed through the corridors of time as one of the greatest pharaohs of Egypt. And so the tale of Djoser, the visionary pharaoh, and Imhotep, the ingenious architect, serves as a timeless reminder of the extraordinary feats that can be achieved when brilliant minds unite for the betterment of humanity. It's a story of courage, innovation, and unwavering dedication, which continues to inspire awe and wonder even today. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Your support means the world to us. And don't forget to join our community for more historical tales. Thanks for watching.